Yeah. Sorry about that. Welcome everybody. I was just saying that we had a really awesome time down in Scottsdale this last week and came back on Tuesday. Missed Friday Night Live last week, but again, it was a really wonderful time. And what I was saying is that we surprised our daughter Willow with a visit from our niece. We went to the airport one night and acted like we were trying to get a rental car or figure out some situation with our rental car. And then our niece actually had flown in from Georgia from college. So it was super fun. And I was saying also that the scene that we're painting tonight is what I saw on Monday, just this Monday when we were hiking back from a little hike. It was a pretty easy hike, but the scenery was really beautiful. So I'm going to show you that here in a second. And also just say, hey, welcome everybody. Peter's here with me. It's just going to be me and Peter and you guys. So
yeah, glad to be back, guys. Feels like it's been a while.
Fun. It has been a little while. So let me just look at this. I'll show you the scene here. This is what we're going to be painting. And this is a little hike you can see goes back this way. And then I can't tell, maybe back here is where we climbed up right there. And you could look back towards the valley. But it was just a beautiful evening, super fun. And that's what we're going to be painting.
The scene is going to be so pretty. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I don't know exactly. Haven't thought that much about, like how it's going to turn out. I'm hoping that I do a good job with it, but hopefully. And we're going to give this painting away. So if you make sure that you sign up on the little thing there. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the process as we go. But first, before I do that, let's hear from Peter, and you guys shout out. Where are you coming in from right now?
Awesome. So we got Christine Anderson from Wizard Lake. We have Amy Wilson from NHI. I'm not sure where that is. Oh, New Hampshire? Question mark.
NHI. Huh.
Sue Pace from Michigan. Laura Azeltine from Quaino Island. Hi, Laura. Good to have you. Thank you, everybody, for the well wishes. Jan Young says, hey, Jed and Peter. We got Tina Burhans from South Carolina, Judy Weber from BC, Canada.
Awesome.
Yeah,
so glad to have you all.
Yeah. That's just kind of Jackie from West Seattle, Mary C from Sedona. Hey, Mary.
Hey, look at this. Mary C. You probably know exactly where this is. Mary C., remind me if you can. Remind me of this hike. I mean,
she
maybe
already did. She said, love the Fay Canyon hike.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's Fay Canyon. Yep. I couldn't remember the name, but yep, that's the one. Fay Canyon. Super beautiful.
Like our first Friday Night Live or whatever, we just, Jed asked where everybody was. It's just kind of in tradition. Everybody shouts out where they are when we start.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Who is asking about that?
Oh, nobody. I was just remarking.
Oh, you were just saying. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Donald Brown from Portland, Oregon. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, Donald. Good to see you. Donald's in the miniature challenge. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to say a couple things here. So if you guys don't know, I almost always am using these Princeton Catalyst brushes. They're flats, and I mainly use between 4 and 12, but I do have a 16 that I pull out every once in a while, but it's mostly for a bigger painting than this. So, I mean, honestly, like in a painting like this, I'll probably be using a 10. That'll be pretty big size for this. But I have a bit of a red orange that I mixed up. All these colors are just primary colors, right? I have ultramarine blue. This is called quinacridone red. This is cadmium yellow medium. And this right here is phthalo blue. And I put it over here because I think it leans more towards green. So I wanted to have it on this side, but I'm not going to use too much of it, especially in this scene. But I just set this up earlier today. Anyways, the violet and the green and the orange are just the mixes of the primary colors. So just to try to give you a little bit of a heads up, and I'm going to do my drawing in here with this nice orange color because, well, for one thing, it is a really warm kind of color palette scene with all the red rock and orange rock and all that stuff. So anyways, that's that. But if you have any questions throughout the night, make sure that you shout out what your question is, and Peter's going to be there to try to get me that question so that I can do my best to give you a response. I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to answer or give you a good answer, but I will give you a response. That's my new thing. I heard somebody say that, and I'm like, yeah, I think I should call our Q&A a Q&R as well.
Question and response.
Question and response, baby.
Yeah. Sarmed from Glasgow, UK. Welcome, man.
Awesome.
Good to have you.
Sarmed, glad you are here for sure. Yeah, it's super fun. I mean, we're really blessed to have you all join us, and we're thankful for you, and we hope that it's a fun night for you too. And I didn't mean the band U2, even though I'm a huge fan of the band U2. Just a little play on words there. If you didn't catch that, don't worry about it. Hopefully U2 is having a fun night tonight somewhere. You know, like they're probably over there, and I think they're from Dublin, but not too far away from Sarmed. Okay, so now we've got this here. I'm kind of delaying getting into these bushes for some reason. Trees, I should say. Now this path comes up to about here, and it kind of comes off like this. And I think they must have some flash flooding or something in this area. Maybe, can't remember who was from this area exactly, but maybe you could explain why there's these rocks that are kind of put in there. But I'm imagining it's probably because of flooding or something like that, and trying to keep the erosion down when there's high rain activity.
We have a couple questions.
Here, man, oh, go ahead. Let me just say something real quick.
Go for it.
Because
I'm curious.
Peter and I also were in this area just a couple years ago, but we never actually made it on this hike. We went to Cathedral Rock and did a little bit of stuff there, but not to this exact hike. There's just so many places, Peter, but we stopped. You know how we were stopping on the way from the Grand Canyon and then Flagstaff and then like to Sedona, that part where it was like a really kind of cool road, and there were so many cool spots that we ended up stopping. And I don't know, man, I just had a new appreciation for it because I think the weather was slightly warmer. The season was a little bit further along, and it felt like there were more leaves and stuff like that on the trees. Like you can see here, obviously, there's lots of leaves on the trees. And I don't know if you remember, but when we were at Cathedral Rock,
I do remember that. Everything was like naked, Yeah,
but it was almost the same exact time of year. So it was like maybe a week difference. But I think just like it was maybe just a little bit colder when we were down, and maybe, or the weather hadn't changed quite as much. So anyway,
so cold.
Yeah. Enough about that.
Yeah, so we got a question from Sarmed. He says, Jed, are your decisions based on previous paintings, e.g. Red on Black? And he says, thanks for the shout out. One is my favorite U2 song.
Yes, One is a great song. I love 40 too, which is another song with a number for a title. Now, Sarmed, tell us if you're a man or a woman. I apologize because I don't know, but
looks like it's a man, I think.
Oh, okay. You're looking at a picture?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So I don't I think the question was, do I have a like some kind of idea already about what I'm doing, or is this based on a painting that I've already done? Is that kind of the question?
Yeah, he said, are your decisions based on previous paintings?
Oh, my decisions.
Red on Black. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is actually a pretty common thing that I do when I paint on black, is that I'll often use a bright color to do my drawing. And that's a lot of that is because, you know, with such a dark canvas, I need to paint my drawing on with something that I'll be able to see, for one thing. Because if it's like obviously I wouldn't use a dark pencil or something like that. You can, but it's very difficult to see. So I need to do something that I can see, but I also don't want to use white, because if I use white on here, it's going to be so bright that later in the painting it's going to show up a lot and it's going to be very distracting. So my goal and my idea is, how can we bring something that has a little bit of color? There are times when I use other colors, like I might use violet or something like that. If the scene makes me think, you know, red would be too much, it wouldn't really work in this, then I will use a different color for sure. But red to me is kind of fun, or this red orange, because it does provide a little bit of life to the painting, and it's kind of vibrant and stuff like that. Good question.
So we've had a couple questions about the Winsor & Newton, and basically they're wondering what kind of paint you're using.
Yep, it is Winsor & Newton. Sorry, I forgot to mention that, but this is Winsor & Newton Professional Acrylic. And the reason I just started using this about a month ago, and the reason I started using it is because it has very little what you call color shift. And that means that when you put it on, it's going to stay the same color pretty much when it dries as when it's wet. And if you know anything about acrylic paints, that's one of the big things that can be challenging, is that it will change colors and it will dry darker, a shade darker when it's dry than when it's wet. And so that makes it very difficult. Like in a scene like this, it's not super big deal. As we're starting out, like, you know, there's nothing to match here or anything like that. But later on in the painting, or if I'm going back into something and I'm trying to match those colors, it can be quite frustrating if you think you matched a color, but then you end up looking and realizing that after it dried, it changed a lot, and it's not nearly as close to the color that you thought you had matched. So that's why I started using this, because I heard somebody talk about it. And then after I started using it for a week or so, I was like, I actually really like this, and I don't know if I'm going to go back now. So yeah, that's the deal.
Patrice says...
Patrice?
Patrice. Is it Patrice?
I don't know. Maybe. Sorry.
I'll go with Patrice.
Yeah. Forgive us, please forgive us for.
I know.
We don't know what we're doing here. We're just doing our best
with names. But she says, so they were talking about the vortex from Sedona. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
The vortex, the spiritual power. Sedona is found inside a vortex, but there are various areas in Sedona where you can visit, and the spiritual power is much greater.
You know what?
We read about that or something.
Yeah. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff there about that. You know, I mean, I guess it totally just depends on your view of reality and everything like that, and kind of how you think about life and everything. To me, the whole earth is full of the glory of God, and there's not a difference between a place like that and a place where I am or a place where you are. So, you know, I mean, but I do know what you're talking about, because I saw lots and lots of stuff about it. There's all sorts of, even just stores and stuff that you can go into, and they'll say, I didn't go in any, or I didn't like try to figure out what it was going to, but I felt like there were places that would either take you on like a tour or things like that. So yeah, it's all over. But we did go into a cool place. In fact, I might be able to get Willow to bring it in. But we got a really cool candle. It was like this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like this really cool place that made candles on the spot. And
Okay.
it was like this guy. In fact, Peter, that was the thing, man. We just kind of like cruised through town, like this,
I
the
know.
old part of the town. We never
I know.
like got out of the car really there. Except I think once we did stop, I think on the way through we stopped at trying to think of, it was like a ATV place. I don't know if you remember.
We thought about renting an ATV, and then we also thought about going on a helicopter like tour.
Yeah. It's like, oh, whoops! I just totally covered up what was supposed to be a red rock. That's the mistake of when you think you're not sure what you did with your drawing. You can kind of screw something up like that. But yeah, that would have been fun, man. And I actually, when we were walking around, driving around and stuff, I saw so many people on the little dune buggy things, Peter. It like this time, I mean, I was really, because we were really thinking about doing a Jeep tour, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the pink Jeep thing.
I do.
But there's these, and they're really cool. From what we heard from this lady that we met at another kind of park, she's like, oh, go to Sedona and do the pink Jeep tour. Like, that's what you got to do. It's the best thing. That's my favorite place. It's my favorite thing. And we ended up not doing it.
Aww.
Mostly just because of time, kind of like, I mean, like we were up in Flagstaff and we had to, it was like, you have to book it ahead of time. We looked into it the night before, but we weren't exactly sure which one we should do. And then like I tried to get up early and do it, but I don't know why I'm talking about that, except to say that I saw so many of those dune buggies rolling around, and it made me like, I was just like, made me so jealous of them.
I know.
This looks so cool.
Let's go off road. That'd be so fun.
Yeah.
Hey Jason, welcome to the stream.
Jason who?
Jason Dorsey, your brother.
Nice.
Yeah.
JTD.
Yep. Jason, I watched your whole your video on going to Hawaii with Jenny. It was so good.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun to watch.
It was.
That's my brother, for those of you who don't know.
Yes.
My brother joined us. He and his wife went to Hawaii about a month ago. And Jason, he's quite the avid videographer and Facebooker. So he was on, when he was there, he couldn't do any Facebooking. That was part of his agreement with Jenny, was that he wasn't going to be on Facebook and do anything like that. Just enjoy the time there.
Yeah.
But he still took videos. And so when he was done, when they came back, he turned it into a nice, like, 15-minute video. And it's really cool. That was really cool.
Didn't he, like, mess up his ankle recently? Or something?
I don't know.
Because he posted something on Facebook. Judah was, like, playing something for him. But he was stuck in bed because of his ankle.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that, man. See, I don't even go on Facebook that often. And so I, or, you know, like, I miss a lot of that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Julie Celeste says, would you say you're blocking in your shapes right now?
Yeah, I'm blocking in stuff. I'm mainly just like thinking through the colors and the values, and I'm trying to stay pretty loose with it, you know, and just getting the general feel of it. And hopefully in time, you know, like this is where you just, for me, what I'm doing a lot is I'm looking back and forth between the reference and my painting, and I'm trying to just think, just make the values work and the colors as close as I can, but without necessarily, you know, I'm still trying to move fairly quickly. I'm not trying to make it, I know I have the time to come back and refine it. So if I'm hoping, my hope is that I'll come back and look at it and I'll think, oh, okay, that's pretty close. That's my hope. Sometimes I come back and I look at it, I'm like, whoa, that wasn't very close. Could have done a better job, but that's the goal.
Someone asks, why did you choose a black background for this painting?
If you've been here before, that's a pretty common question. I get almost every time, and I give the same answer every time. There's two main reasons. The first is in fact, I'm writing an article for International Artist Magazine right now, and it's based on the idea behind it. Let me see here. Just a second. I'm going to show you a painting really quick, and I'll show you why it's one of the main reasons why I paint on a black canvas. And let me just find it here. Okay. Okay, so if I show you this, okay, you can see this painting right here is, I painted this in, this was the first workshop I ever went to, after trying to become or taking it more seriously. So I painted this. It was in acrylic. It was like the first instruction I really had in acrylic. And we had painted on all sorts of different things all week. Like first day was, I don't know, different methods of approaching it. And this was the last day of the workshop, the 5th day of the workshop. And I painted this. And you can't imagine how excited I was about it, right? Because this was way beyond, this was like one of those paintings that to me felt like super lucky. I wasn't at that level to paint a painting that looked this good at that time. But I felt like it was a gift and it was something. But I painted it on black. As you can see, there's the black background. And so all of a sudden, I had this really kind of unique interest all of a sudden in black backgrounds, because it's like, oh, that's what a black background does, is I can paint paintings like that, it's like, which isn't the case. It's not magic that you use a black background, all your paintings turn out. But for me, there was a connection. There was oh, I painted on black and that one really turned out. I liked it, and so I think that partly one of the reasons I paint on black is because I had that early success with it. And then ever since then, there are times when I'm like, okay, what I want to paint on. And every once in a while I'll be like, I really want to paint on black, and I think there's some psychology that's involved in it. But if I think about it practically, the reasons that I would say I like to paint on black are because, this lightest color right here, I put on. There's no other area on the painting that's light and competing with that area. But if this was a white or a very light canvas, there'd be lots of areas that are that light. And so for me, painting on a dark canvas gives me the chance to kind of control where I put the light. So that's like the general, I would say the practical reason is that it forces me to paint a little bit backwards, and it makes me look at the painting a little bit different, and I can control where the light comes from very easily. But the second and more less about the art kind of answer, it's more about it's more of a personal reason and maybe a trying to think of the word I've used before to describe it. Maybe I don't know if esoteric is the right word, but that kind of idea that it's like, and it's just that I have a history of being really messed up and having addiction, and my life felt like a dark black canvas. It felt hopeless. It felt like I didn't have anything, that was light or colorful in my life, because of my own decisions and my own problems and my own stuff. And so I feel like in my own personal life, God has met me and has started bringing in color and light and fun things into my life. And so there's that kind of more of a personal experiential reason now that when I paint on black, I'm like, this reminds me of what my life was like, what it's becoming like, and what it will be like in the future. So those are my two reasons I like to paint on black. But I don't always paint on black, just that I almost always do here on Friday Night Live. Part of the reason I like to do it on Friday nights here is because it's kind of a little bit more predictable for me. I've done it so much that I feel like I know what to expect with it a little bit more, and it's just feels a little bit more predictable. Good questions.
Pinball Flynn says, I signed up for the year of mini paintings. I haven't started painting yet, but I'm watching you on Fridays to get motivated. Your black amazes me. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, cool. Let me ask, are you signed up for this next round, or are you signed up in one of the previous rounds and you haven't started painting yet?
Mm-hmm.
Because we do have a round coming up in about a week that's starting. In fact, it's April 4th, Easter Sunday is the official date. But if you're part of it, you'll know that we will try to give you access on Friday, because we like to give everybody access on the same day, so that, and you have the weekend to kind of start going through it. But that's cool. I'm glad you're part of it.
Patrice says, I like the reason why you use black backgrounds. I'm 32 years sober.
Oh, awesome. That's so great.
Glad to hear.
That's so great. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely the kind of thing that I'm trying to think of. When you said something, it just jogged my memory of, I'm trying to think what it was. I was talking to somebody recently, or heard somebody talking recently, and now I won't remember, but it was meaningful, and it might come back to me.
Judy Weber asks, Jed, did you do Black Elvis with Mike's fob?
Yeah, that painting was with Mike's fob for sure. That was my first. If that was what your question was, that first workshop was with Mike's fob. Yep, but that was a long time ago. That was like probably close to 20 years ago.
It's awesome.
In fact, I'm trying to think here. Yeah, I mean, it would be, I think that was 19 years ago, right about now, like maybe in April. It would be 19 years exactly.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
When I saw that painting, I never would have guessed that was a Jed Dorsey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I don't know if I showed you, but I'll show you here real quick. I actually signed it slightly different way back then. If you see, I just wrote Jed. So, and you want to know why I did that? It's in red, and I just wrote the one thing. Well, the reason is because that's what Mike's fob did, and I was like super. Like that whole painting, he didn't touch that painting. Like, he didn't do anything on it, but I was doing my very best to like say, what would Mike Svaab do in this, with this brush stroke? And if you have been to one of his workshops, he's a very methodical painter. And that was one of the things that kind of that I was like really trying to do, was just move a little more methodically, be intentional with every brush stroke, and hope for the best. And it turned out pretty good for me. And I do thank Mike Svaab for showing us how to paint on black, because it was kind of like it's become such a fun way for me to paint. And I don't think I ever would have tried it, if I didn't see somebody else do it. Because it's exactly opposite of how you paint in watercolor. And I grew up painting in watercolor. So
Karen says hi from Colorado.
Who's that?
Karen.
Okay. Hi, Karen.
Hey, Karen.
I'm going to do a little quick show.
And Phoebe wants to come in too.
Oh my goodness, look at this. We've got Big Silver and Willow.
He escaped last night.
He totally escaped last night. He was trying to run away. And
Come on.
Phoebe, you can come over here. Willow's got a good friend Phoebe over here. And okay, so I'm gonna, Phoebe, you gotta come over here. I have to pick you up if you're gonna be, okay. Well, I'm gonna.
Do you want to show how cute your panda thing is?
They can't see it, but you can see. Do you see the little tiny panda pajamas?
I'll take you back.
Okay.
Wait.
Thanks for doing it, guys. I gotta.
I'm a balloon.
Oh, you're up. Are you up high? You weren't even high enough, I don't think. But if you want to come back later, I actually just realized you could stand on that chair back there.
That's true.
Yes.
Peter's Facebook streaming. Yeah, we are streaming to Facebook as well. At the same time, most people are on. A member can't get on YouTube Live. Well, if you go to the Jed Dorsey's Facebook page or the Jed Dorsey Art Facebook page, it's also there. So, somebody asks, how do you keep your colors so brilliant when mixing?
I don't know if they're that brilliant. Like when I look at them, I feel like I get a lot of grayish colors in between. And but if I need to keep a color really clean, I usually try to reserve spots in the palette like this. Or, I have other palettes. Like I can grab another one, and like if I'm working on a bigger painting, I'll often have two palettes going, because if I have a large area to cover, it can be quite difficult to do it with like I've covered up a lot of space, and if I need to mix a lot of one color, that's kind of what I'll do. Yeah. Thanks for the questions. I like getting questions. It makes it more interesting for me. So yeah. I appreciate that.
Tracy Gordon says, also, Peter, remind everyone to like the stream. Thanks for reminding me, Tracy. So, yes, if you haven't already, like that stream. Show us some love. It's a good way to support us really easily.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for that. We do appreciate that. We're
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, you. You go ahead. Okay.
I don't remember what I was going to say.
Oh, no. I cut you off.
Okay, so Christy, your friend Gretchen is trying to get to the live stream, but they can't. So she asked me to send Gretchen a link. So I did. I sent Gretchen a link over text. Hopefully that works for you.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I kind of have a question. I don't even know. I mean, back in the day, so I don't know. I don't even know if I want to ask this question, but sometimes I think about this and I'm like, well, what would happen if we did this on our site, right? Like, the problem is that you can't live stream a YouTube thing to your site and use the chat. We've tried it before, and there's lots of complications because people who are on a mobile phone can't see the chat and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We do have other technology that would allow us to do it on there and have the chat and everything like that, but it wouldn't necessarily be easy for there are people who are used to going to YouTube and that kind of thing, and we might lose people in that kind of transition. But it does make me kind of wonder, like, the benefit of doing it is that it's the same link every week. You know, like, we could just put it on a page every week and it would be the same place you go every week, instead of like having to figure out new links.
Jones says YouTube is more reliable, at least for me. I think that's probably true for a lot of people.
More reliable?
Yeah, more reliable. To an extent,
than Facebook?
Anyway. I'm not sure exactly what she's referring to, but probably just other
the general
or something like that. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Cindy Wilker says, "What was the 5-day challenge Jed was talking about on Instagram today?"
Okay, so that is something that I was trying to decide whether or not I wanted to do. I had this idea. I've had a similar idea for a while. I mean, we did a few challenges last year that were really fun, but we've been kind of busy and weren't able to do as much. And they're a lot of work. They're like, I mean, the ones that we did last year were so much work. It was like
they were
crazy.
Yeah.
But it was really fun. But they were also big, long challenges. Like, we did like a 14-day challenge, and then we did a 10-day challenge or something like that, and then like a 7, I don't know, it was like really long ones. And I was like, man, I kind of want to do one, but I don't want to do one that long. So anyways, I am planning on doing it. I got a positive enough response today that made me think, okay, I'm not just, thinking it's a good idea by myself. And I mean, I can paint by myself, and I don't have to do any of the work to set up a challenge. So what you need to do is just pay attention. Make sure that you pay attention to my next few posts as I go on Instagram and different stuff, because I don't have the details to give you right now, because I don't have any of it worked out. But basically what it's going to be is I'm going to I'm going to have a way that we can all kind of be on the same page. You don't have to do everything that I'm going to, give you options of doing. Like, I actually have some, just some video, like a free 5-day video thing that you could do. Well, actually, what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to give people the option. I think I'm going to do a live thing next week for each of the paintings that I do, and just kind of try to make it like a hangout time a little bit. So that's my idea. Now, you don't have to, I wish there was a way, I don't know, maybe there is a way. This is the whole thing, like I said, I'm figuring it out as I go. But there might be a way that we can make it more like a group hangout kind of thing. But I feel like I'm probably going to end up doing something kind of like this, where it's a live event. And if you're able to paint along with me or paint your own thing at the same time, great. If not, it's going to be there that you could look at later if you want. Or you can just like be part of it and not watch it at all and just paint your own thing. It doesn't really matter. But I'm trying to kind of make it fun and give people options. Like, I know sometimes people people don't know what to paint. Sometimes people like last year we had so many. Remember all the crazy paintings that we saw? Like people were coming up with it was fun, and it was like totally
It was
awesome.
so cool. Yeah, we saw lots of styles outside of what we normally see in acrylic
Oh,
university.
yeah.
So
Yeah, totally interesting.
Patricia Mahan. Sorry if I butchered your last name, but they say, can you use watercolor in your mini painting challenge?
In the miniature painting challenge, it just you can. It totally depends on what you're trying to get out of it. The thing that would be the hardest about watercolor out of everything else, I feel like it would be the hardest to follow the process.
Yeah.
You could get inspiration for a scene, you could get inspiration for, the design and the values and all that stuff, but the hardest thing would be watching a video and saying, oh, okay, now I'm going to do that. Because, like, for instance, if I start on a black canvas, which I do sometimes in the miniature challenge, I start on a black or dark canvas, there's just no way that you're going to be able to do that. So, I mean, I'd be happy if you wanted to be part of it, but I'm not going to tell you that you're going to be able to follow the actual lesson
perfectly.
And perfectly be able to, make sense of it. You'd have to do quite a bit of. But if you're an oil painter or you're a pastel artist, pastel would be a little weird, a little different. Like oil is like very easy. I mean, I'm just mixing colors and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the reason I say pastel, I know pastel people can do it is because we've had people do it in pastels, and so I didn't ask them or anything how it worked or exactly, but they seemed like they had fun doing it. And I think a lot of times for people, the miniature, the year-long miniature thing, like the idea behind it is just to give inspiration, and get you being creative and doing something. And so if that's what you're looking for in your watercolors, I mean, I think it would totally fit that. It's just whether or not you're like wanting to model your process after what I'm doing, then I'd say no, it's not going to really work.
Yeah. Marianne McCory says, how do you and Peter know each other? That's a good question. We actually met at church.
Don't know each other. Just met tonight.
Yeah.
Random.
First time.
Funny.
No, we met at church about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, Peter was talking to Renee, my wife, and he was saying how he was doing some video work, and we had just started like the idea of acrylic university, and we were just starting to like think through how were we going to make it happen and everything like that. And I started realizing, man, if I try to do all the video work myself, I don't know if it's going to work. I don't really know what I'm doing. And then here he is talking to Renee and saying that he does video stuff. And so Renee told me later, she's like, hey, did you know that this Peter guy, he told me that he does the video. So that was how it all started. Random conversation.
Yep. And then lots of, oh man, it's been a journey, but it's been fun.
We've had a lot of adventures. We've had a lot of different kinds of adventures. So then Peter ended up moving in with us. He lived with us for how long, Peter, was that? I honestly don't remember.
I think it wasn't quite a year. I think it was like 8 or 9 months.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, something like that. So he lived with us for 9 months, which, when you live together, like you really get to know each other. Like you spend time. But even before that, we went to California, we went to Arizona together. We did these travels, and
yeah, and even before I moved in, I was up there like 3 days a week still. So
true, that's totally true. Yeah, you were.
Yeah, it went from it was they just stole me from my family.
Yeah, well, and I know, and I know that was kind of hard for your family too. we weren't trying to steal you or anything, but it was almost like, well, man, you're spending a lot of time up here already
Yeah.
anyways. You know, could we just simplify this a little bit?
Yeah,
But it's
because
been-
I would bring. I had like
Yeah,
work
you
with
would-
Jed, and
Dang,
I'd
yeah,
work
you-
at home, and I'd bring my computer back and forth.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was part of it. It was just like really complicated for you on your
was.
end. It was like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's funny. It's funny how I mean I totally forgot about that. That
I know.
that was part of it. Is you were bringing your you're packing it up. I'd carry out your big, because you had that one bigger screen, and I'd
Yeah.
often be carrying that out and
Yeah.
setting it in the
Oh,
back
man.
seat of your car.
I know. It
It
was
was
such a
actually
pain.
really, it was really nice when it was more simple, like when
It
you did live
was.
here, because it was like, oh, okay, like, you know, especially that first bit when you're used to the transition every week, and then
Yeah.
because that's right, you would come up and actually stay with us for like 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah, I would. Oh
I-
man,
I-
that was crazy.
Isn't that weird? I totally forgot about that
I
part
know.
of it. It's so weird, man.
It is.
So anyways, we go back. We don't go back super long in terms of time, right? Like, I mean, it's only been probably 2.5 years or something, like 3 years maybe that we've
Yeah.
known each other.
I
But
know.
it feels like we've spent like a lot of time together for it only being 3 years.
We did. And then last summer I moved into my apartment.
Yeah.
So we've still been working together, but I don't live with him anymore. I kind of miss it though. We had good times.
We did.
We also had like, okay. There were times though that weren't like my favorite. Like one time, you remember when you came in at like 5 a.m. to wake me up to
Yeah.
go film something?
No, what was this?
I
I
don't remember, but I had been up super
Were
late the
there-
night before, and then you woke me up like 2 hours later, and you're like, "We're
Was that
going to
when you were
film this
living-
thing."
When you were living here?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah, and then we went
Dude.
down to the beach and we filmed this thing with the sunrise.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
Jed?
honestly I don't even remember that. I do kind of remember now, but I
Yeah.
don't remember what it was.
I don't remember what it was for either,
No
but Jed
clue what it
has
was.
limitless energy. Like he'll be up crazy late, and then he'll get up crazy early, and he just keeps going. And he lives like that.
Oh,
It's
it's not
ridiculous.
limitless. It's not limitless. It definitely has a limit.
Yeah.
Like, but I think part of it is when you get older, you need less sleep, and I'm 20 years older than you or
Yeah,
something like
it's
that.
true.
So more than that,
My
25 years
dad
old.
says,
dude.
my dad says, Dad here, I'm Peter and Jed. I was just telling the banker lady today how cool your relationship with Jed was. You didn't really steal Peter. You borrowed / mentor / friended him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it was totally like a borrow, you know. I mean what was crazy was like when one of the times that kind of stands out to me was this last March when COVID first came around and you got sick.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you had COVID or not. I don't think it was, but you had the flu or whatever, and you had to stay home, you had to quarantine and do all that stuff. And I remember, because it was right when all the quarantine stuff kind of was happening.
Yeah.
And I remember it was like, oh my goodness, we were stuck at home. And I was like, because you had gone home to visit your parents. This was the whole thing. You'd gone home to
Yeah.
visit your family or whatever. And when you got sick there, then you had to stay there and all that kind of stuff. And it was like a long time before you, well, 2 weeks at least.
I was
or
indoors
how
for
long-
2 weeks, dude. I was in my room for 2 weeks.
Dude, that was rough. But the thing that I remember thinking, like when you first got back, or like I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so looking forward to Peter coming back, because it was like, it's just, you know, when you're an extrovert and you like being around people, and
Yeah.
The people that you're around all the time are like, man, I'm ready for you to not be so, like,
Yeah.
that was the way Renee and Willow were. It was kind of like, well, at least Renee gets a little bit tired of me always wanting to talk and always talking about my ideas. And me and Peter we can go for, I mean, Peter probably gets tired of me too doing it, but it's at least like it gets evened out with a few more people.
Yeah.
So
Just because I have other responsibilities. If I had 0 responsibilities like I used to,
yeah,
then yeah.
for sure. So I'm cutting out the sky now. Yeah, keep going with any questions that you guys have. I'm definitely happy to keep answering anything. And I know that we've been just talking about random stuff, but if you have anything art related, feel free. I'm just putting in the sky, and I'm not sure. This is my thing with the sky. The sky is generally Carlson's. No, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think it is Carlson's landscape painting kind of ideas. He wrote a book named John Carlson, but basically one of the big ideas in the book is that your sky, I mean, he kind of goes through the different planes of a landscape, and he talks about the values. I'm thinking that this is originally from him, but I learned it from John Poon, who said like your sky is going to be your lightest value almost always. Like if you follow this rule, generally you'll make a scene that looks believable and stuff like that. But so your sky is generally your lightest value. So I'm putting it in right now, but it's in this scene, like, so you'll think about a scene where you have snow on the ground. Obviously snow in the sunlight is usually going to be lighter than the blue of the sky. So there are always exceptions to the rule when you have light objects that are directly in the sun. And here, these rocks up here are actually quite light, and I want them to be my focal point in this painting. So I need to kind of decide if the sky color is competing too much, and if it is, I might end up making it a little bit darker. So there are generally rules, but you have to, as the artist, you have to kind of make your own design choices and come up with the best painting that you possibly can. So I'm kind of cleaning out my brushes. I've been using these brushes for the last, quite a while. And yeah, John Carlson landscape painting. See, I see somebody write that. I rarely see you use glazes. Why is that? Well, Cindy, one of the reasons I never really use a glaze when you're watching me paint in something like this is because glazes are an extra thing that take time. For instance, for me to do a glaze, I'd have to make sure everything on this painting is completely dry. Then I'd have to do my glaze, let it completely dry, and then I would be able to carry on with my painting. And so in a setting like this, it's not super practical. That's why you never really see me do it. But there are a lot of good times that a glaze can be helpful and kind of work really well. And like one of those would be if you're trying to unify the colors of a painting, the glaze can totally transform your painting and make it feel like it's the various colors. Sometimes you use colors and they're not lining up with the other colors in your painting. Well, a glaze will help them all kind of come together. It can change if you're painting, you've somehow gotten it to be more on the cool side and you really wanted it to feel really warm, doing a glaze that's like a quinacridone gold, something like that. It's going to warm it up a ton. And so there are definitely a lot of good reasons to use a glaze. And those are at least a couple. Oh, yeah. So, Jan, you asked, I said I was going to take the class of John Poon's. I was at least going to look into it. It actually was canceled, and I don't know why it was canceled, but I went that first day we were there, and I was going to see if it was an option, and they said, actually, I think that one was canceled. They looked it up, and sure enough, it was. So I did not take it. Glazed donuts.
Says, Sworn says, wow, beautiful, you rock. Get it?
Oh. Like the rocks.
Yeah,
the
rocks.
Yeah. Well, I saw another one that just said, glaze. What's the purpose of glazing? And Joe says, glazed donuts. Yum. Yes.
Good answer.
That's a very good reason to glaze. Go to. I mean, do you guys remember when Krispy Kreme was so popular, and like, man, that place was awesome when it first came out. The first time I ever went there, I was like, this is the best. And it's like when you get a donut that's warm, fresh like that, so good.
Sounds so good.
You're probably too young to ever experience that, because most of them are gone now. At least the ones that were around me.
There's a Krispy Kreme in Spokane.
Oh, is there?
Once. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I was there once years ago, but.
So what I'm doing now, guys, if you're curious, I'm just thinking about the light and where's the light hitting, and kind of like trying to think through the pattern of the light as it comes down and stuff. You know, every once in a while I do a painting on here that I say I'm going to give away, and then I'm like halfway through and I'm regretting giving it away. Like, I like this painting. It's kind of the way I am tonight, because I kind of like this painting, and it's fun. I feel like when I paint a scene that's a little different for me, like the colors of the desert are, you know, they're different than where we live here, and it's, I don't know, there's something fun about it. I really appreciate that about traveling and being able to see new things. Let's see if I can get this rock in here.
A couple people are asking if you've ever painted a surreal piece.
I don't know what that means, so probably
I'm not
not.
sure what that means either. Yeah.
Maybe surreal means, I mean, I'm guessing it's like a little bit otherworldly or something. Like maybe those scenes that look really blended and nuanced and kind of, I don't know if I'm describing it right, but I can kind of visualize a type of painting, but I don't really think I've done it unless it's not what I'm thinking.
Judy says, oh man, stop talking about donuts. I just went carb free, and right now even a hot dog sounds delicious. A hot dog bun.
Oh man,
I feel you.
Yeah, too much yellow in that color right there. Yeah, well, I know it's like Renee just started a diet today that's kind of like a fast, really. I mean, she was like describing it to me as like, some people call it a diet, some people call it a fast. It's not a full-on fast. Like, she's still eating, but she's I mean, the stuff, like, she doesn't have that many things that she can eat. And it's like, it's kind of like a fast. Oh, man. Oh, Peter, did I tell you about our hike up Camelback Mountain?
I know you went. And
Yeah.
you told me you went, but I didn't see.
It was fun, man. That was really fun. And then on last Friday, we hiked up another one called.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it, but it's like Pistua Peak or something like that. It used to be called Squaw Mountain, I think, and now it's called whatever word I tried to say. But that was pretty fun, and Jackie was with us, and
nice.
Yeah, fun times.
It's looking good, Jed.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Patrice asks intermittent fasting ?
It's a 21-day thing, and it's just like really limited in what she can eat. It's not intermittent fasting, but it's like it's called the Daniel diet is what it's called, and it's based on a story in the Bible where they basically this guy and his friends only eat vegetables and what else, like fruit, and I don't know, it's just like very limited. You can't have, I don't think
no
she
added
can.
Salt on anything.
Is that right? I
Well,
don't know.
I'm looking at the Daniel diet, that's what it says. So
Oh, really? Yeah, it's pretty strict, and yeah, so that's what it is.
interesting.
Yeah.
Dude, I hate it how every time you go to a site nowadays, they like ask you, can we send you desktop notifications and sign up for our email list? And there's like 10 pop-ups you have to deal with right when you go to the website. It's so annoying.
Oh man, I shouldn't have made our site like that then, I guess.
No.
I actually just did last night, Peter. I turned on a thing on our site on Acrylic University it's like an exit notification or like a pop-up. So if somebody's on there and then they're leaving, it's going to pop up and say, hey, did you know about this? But I was trying to test it myself and it wouldn't work. So I don't even know if it works. Because I was kind of like testing it to see, is this annoying or is it not? You know, like what's this like? And I couldn't figure out how to get it to work when I was doing it. And at first I was like, okay, it's because it knows I'm logged in and everything like that, which is awesome.
And it works incognito. I just tried it.
Oh, really? See, I went on incognito too and tried it, and I couldn't get it to work. But it's only going to do it like once, and then it would take 60 days for you to have it happen again. So.
So Laura says, Peter, tell Jed to think of melting clocks for surrealism.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Yeah. That wasn't what I was thinking about. No, I've never painted like that. That's, what's his name? The famous guy, of course, or at least the most famous
Salvador Dali?
Yeah, Dali. Yeah. So that was... Yeah, no, I'm never painted like that. I don't really have any interest in painting like that just because it's totally like, you have to be way more creative than I am to do that.
Oh, yeah. I see.
Give me something to paint that I can see, and I struggle enough with that rather than coming up with, totally my own scenes.
James Dillon says, you guys are terrible. I may have to leave and go get some donuts. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's probably like the chatter. And there's just, man, yeah, get me some too. I like that, Christy. What would be really awesome would be if there was a way to, like, send them digitally to everybody. We could. Hey, by the way, I'm thinking about, man, I have so many dang ideas, but if anybody lives in the Northwest and is kind of close, I have an idea. Peter's just rolling his eyes. Renee's shaking her head because this is every day 100. But my idea is actually, I'm thinking about spending a little bit of time this summer at the Camino Commons where we used to have our dang, I can't even think of the name, studio. Man, why was that so hard to think of? We used to have our studio there, and we're not there anymore. But last year, I was thinking about doing something outside in the summer, and I don't know if I'm going to do it, but I think I am going to do something at least like for like Mother's Day weekend. Maybe, and if that works, I might do more. But it's basically like just. Yeah. So anyways, I'm just throwing that out there. If you're anywhere in the area, I'll let you know later. Make sure that you follow my Instagram and stuff like that. And I'll try to let you know when I'm going to be there and stuff because I think it's going to be fun if it works.
Laura, you bought... Sorry.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Laura, did you buy Doug Greenman's painting?
Yeah, she did.
She did?
Yeah, Doug told me.
Nice.
I know. Yeah, because he posted that he sold it, and
yeah, I know. I was like,
isn't that awesome? Yeah.
That's so cool, Doug and Laura.
Yeah.
That's such a beautiful painting. It feels like iconic Montana wilderness.
Yeah. I know, isn't it fun? That's so cool.
That is so cool.
So there you go. Another benefit of getting to know people in Acrylic University. You support each other in your art endeavors.
Let's see. I was gonna read some. Oh, Doug says, when your arms fill up with rubber bracelets, will you bounce when you fall down?
Oh, you noticed. You know where I got my extra 2 bracelets this week? So when we were down at we were staying at a resort. I got it through Airbnb, like it was a timeshare that somebody couldn't use. So, but they had these different bracelets for the pool, and this was our color. The red one was our color. So that was basically like if it got overcrowded, they were going to resort to the bracelets, like you could only be there during your time. But I was in the hot tub one night and I felt something under my foot and I picked it up and it was this green one. I'm like, oh, that matches my other bracelets. So I put it on.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I've got 2 extra bracelets on there.
Nice.
And I don't know. I don't have any plans of taking them off yet. One of them Willow claimed for her own because she liked something about it, but then she immediately was like gonna take it off and leave it somewhere, and I'm like, well, give it back to me. I'm gonna keep that thing. You can never have too many bracelets. That's my thing is I don't know if you know my necklaces too, but I have like 4 necklaces on, and that's
he does.
No, is it 4 or 3? I don't know. It is 4. I'm counting them with my hand right now. But I'm like, man, because a good necklace, they're hard to find. They don't make a lot of necklaces for guys. And so I'm always trying to find them. And if I do, I'm like, okay, I'm going to put it on. You never know when one's going to break. And I just fixed, in fact, one of my purchases in the last year was I bought this kit that I could fix necklaces because so I'm like going I'm pretty legit with the necklace thing. I could probably start making my own and selling them, since there's such a need out there.
Yeah. Patrice says,
Why
are the
are you
acrylic
laughing
university
at
ones
that?
for sale?
Oh, bro. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean bro. Patricia. The acrylic university ones, see, this is the thing. They definitely should be for sale. Like
They should. We still don't have merch.
I know. Seriously. We need to. Peter, I'm going to put that in your court. Somehow figure it out. I can't.
Okay.
I'm too overwhelmed with too many things to think
do
about
that.
it. Oh, boy. Sounds like the girls want to come back in for oh, my goodness gracious.
Joan
Is that it,
says,
right?
Jed wears more jewelry than I do.
Hey, that's right, man. It's called bling. Okay. Okay. Here's Willow. Willow wanted to bring Phoebe in, and there's Phoebe.
She wanted to go in.
Okay.
You told me.
Okay. Well, look, actually, oh, wait, it's not Phoebe. It's a panda bear.
No, stop.
So, super awesome. Phoebe, can you tell us one thing? Phoebe's actually quite an artist. You like art, too. Phoebe, squishy art?
Yeah, paint squishies.
Oh, you paint squishies. What are squishies?
They're a little foam shape painted character.
Oh, that's cool.
See, this is her face. Okay, never mind. Oh, my mom doesn't want me on the thing.
Yeah. Gotcha. Thanks for hiding your face. Well, yes, Willow and Phoebe. Phoebe's good friend and definitely like seeing them able to hang out together and have fun. Did we lose you, Peter?
No, I just hid myself while Phoebe was talking.
Oh, okay. Oh, you hid yourself. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't heard.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I haven't heard like any of U2's music.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I checked the thing on Spotify and it said U2 have spent the vast majority of their careers the biggest rock and roll band in the world. So I was like, how have I never heard of these people?
You've never heard of them?
I love rock. No, somehow.
Oh, seriously? Whoa, that actually is crazy that you've never heard. I mean, I can imagine that you never listened to them potentially, even though that's by itself kind of crazy, but never actually even heard of them.
I know.
Wow. Yeah, man, U2's they were pretty big. I mean, they're just like if you think about one of the things that they're really good at is they put on a really good show, and they're huge. Their shows are huge.
Yeah.
Their tours are huge. And,
I'll check them out, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rachel says, Peter, that's just wrong. Yeah. I know, considering I'm huge into rock and stuff, so.
Michael, I see you asked, I'm trying to figure out why you're switching brushes. And you said, is it for color changes or values? Well, yes. These colors right now are kind of close together. They're probably close enough that I wouldn't need to use two brushes, but you can see this one is very blue-green and darker. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm mostly just thinking like if I'm doing something down in the bushes, I'm using, one of this brush, because I can switch back and forth. I can make it more purple, I can make it more blue, I can do different stuff, but it's all within kind of the same range. But if I'm going to bring it really high in value, then I'm going to switch to something, a different brush for those brush strokes. And so that's why I've got these. And these I can kind of mix around on the upper part of the spectrum in terms of values.
So they brought up so Tracy said Peter hasn't seen the original Star Wars. YouTube isn't far behind. And I said I respect it, but I don't get the hype. And then Rachel said, "Oh, Tracy, this boy needs help."
Oh man,
I like Lord of the Rings. Does that make it any better?
That's funny. Good. It's good, Peter. I mean, we need somebody to be different than, like, it's okay.
Yeah.
One movie that everybody watched that I refused to watch back in the day, and I still haven't seen it. And I kind of made a vow when I was in college. I'm like, I'm not watching that movie. It was the Titanic. It was so popular and everybody was watching it and blah. I was just I don't have any desire to watch that movie. And I just kind of said, I'm not watching it. And I've stuck with it. But I have to say that you don't have the same kind of fans of the Titanic as you do of Star Wars. So it is a little bit different.
Leagues.
It's a little different.
Yeah. I have to get my wisdom teeth out like next week, Jed.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like as soon as I can. Yeah, all of them.
Wow.
Yeah, that's starting to really bother me.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. It's always fun to get your wisdom teeth pulled. So,
yeah.
No, it's not that bad. I mean, it is.
No, I know. My brother said it wasn't that bad. Except his lip was still numb afterwards from the drugs or whatever, and so he ended up chewing his lip a ton. Without knowing about it. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know. And it got like infected and stuff.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
No.
Nothing fun about that. Well, I've had that kind of thing happen before. Not to the extent it doesn't sound like, but like you don't know. That's the whole thing with leprosy, right? Like that kind of thing is like you don't know that you're damaging your body, and you're just kind of like, crazy. I kind of like this painting. I feel like it's a little bit abstract. It's kind of like there's a decent amount in it that's not super easy to tell what's going on, but it's kind of I kind of like it.
Whoa, Martha Towner says, I know a lady who missed the train and so she missed the Titanic.
Oh, seriously? Like in real life?
Yeah, in real life. She said, I should say I knew her. She died at 104.
Whoa.
That's
crazy. That's the kind of, I read a story a while ago, or an article or something, and it was a lady, she was writing about her dad. And so she was in high school when 9/11 happened. And the whole thing was about like how she was late for school and she had a really bad attitude that morning, and she was like super bratty, and her dad was the one who always brought her to school and then went to work, and she just had this terrible attitude this one day, and her dad's trying to get her out the door, and she's just whining and moaning and all this stuff, and he's getting all worked up and he's mad at her, and of course, that day, so she ends up going to school. He gets her to school eventually, finally, and she's like 2 hours later in class, and all of a sudden everybody has to go home, and they're hearing about what's happened and all this stuff, and she starts thinking, oh my goodness, my dad's, he's there. Like he works in the World Trade Center. Oh no, what's happened? And as the day progresses, like an hour later, she calls or gets a call from him or something, and he had stayed home because he was going to be so late because of her, that he had to like go home and get on a conference call or something because he knew he wouldn't be able to get to work on time or whatever.
Wow.
And so like to this day, every year, he writes her like a letter or like a note or something on her birthday, and like just continually is like, thank you for being a little brat, like that. Because isn't that crazy? Like his life was spared because his daughter had a bad attitude about going to school one day. Man, just nuts.
I wonder, man, I feel like, yeah, I wonder how many, I've thought about that before, like how many situations in my life has God protected me from because I was just avoided or something.
You don't even know. Like I've thought about that. Like one thing that I think about sometimes is like, how many drunk drivers have I driven past?
I know.
And never knew, I just never knew that they were drunk because nothing happened. And not necessarily that something happened later with them either. It's just the idea that it could have happened so easily, like, yeah, it's crazy to think about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Rockefeller he was late for a train that fell off the bridge and crashed, and everyone on the train died.
Really?
Yeah, when he was, before his thing kind of blew up, he was going to meet somebody, I don't remember who exactly, but he was going to meet somebody and he missed the train that would have killed him.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So Peter, I think we should
do
our drawing. So if you haven't yet, make sure you text the word win right there, because even though I don't want to give this away, I'm going to still. And I have to say that, I think it's pretty accurate to what you see on your screen today. I'm always trying to figure out if the colors, values, and everything match up with the screen and what I'm looking at, and it looks pretty good today.
All right, I'm going to text the winner.
Okay. I actually was talking in a text group with a bunch of old high school buddies this week, and I told them, hey, I'm doing this thing. And I told them, I said, if one of you shows up and you say, I'm Jed's high school buddy, I'll give you my, I was just like, I'll just like throw the rules out and I'll just give you one, I'll give you the painting. I don't think any of them showed up. But if somebody did, man, I would feel bad now if I promised that. And I totally forgot about that until right now.
Well, it's too late now.
Too late. But I'm sure you would have told me if somebody went on there and said, I'm Jed's high school buddy.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we got a response.
We got a winner. Awesome. I'm going to put in a couple extra streaks of light. Maybe a little
guys,
bit
so the recording for this will be available on the channel afterwards, and we'll also post the finished painting on social media afterwards. So
yes, indeed. And it won't be too long. I'm usually able to take a picture pretty quickly and get something over to Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Get it up. Thanks for joining us tonight, you guys.
Yeah.
Been super fun. Yeah, I like this. I'm going to do the last thing I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to do one more coat on the sky just because I like to.
Mm-hmm. You're going to make it brighter?
Yeah, I think, well, I'm not actually sure. I kind of like the feel of it being the value that it is. I think it works okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what I'm going to do is, well, you can see it's kind of scratchy. And I'm going to just try to make it more opaque.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
See, this is where this Winsor Newton Professional is so helpful, right? It's because if it doesn't do a color shift on me, I can match this and put this down, and it's not going to change in, a little bit of time. Where if this was one of the paints that, changes, like most, I'll put it down, walk away, try to match it, and then I'll come back and it'll be a shade darker. And it's not the end of the world, but it might, it's just not quite as easy to deal with. So it's a lot more thinking involved in that kind of situation to try to make sure that you've got the right value and stuff.
Laura says, thanks, Peter, for adding so much to Friday night. You're welcome. I'm happy to be here. Talk to you guys, and one of the favorite parts of my week.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just love looking through the communities and seeing all the texts and emails and stuff from you guys. Just amazing. Who won tonight? So a lady named Ellen Collison won. Won Jed's painting tonight. So congratulations, Ellen. You are now the proud owner of a Jed Dorsey original.
Very fun. Very cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm going to switch the scene here. And okay. I want to say thank you guys for being here. Super fun to be here with you. Fun to hear your comments, see your comments and stuff like that. Yeah. And I want to say one thing real quick. If you're, maybe a couple things, but if you're able to be part of the 5-day challenge, I would love your help in spreading the word. So pay attention when I do post the details of it. Like, hey, make it as fun as you can, because I'd love to just like get as many people in, and if you want to do it with a friend or somebody, obviously if you're part of Acrylic University, all of you guys, I hope will do it if you can. Obviously it's a little bit of a commitment, but if you know people outside, grab them, say, hey, look at this, because I'm going to have some cool stuff in there and it's going to be really fun. And the only other thing that I want to say is I discovered this really amazing artist named William Hook when I was down in Scottsdale. And I have this really cool book. I'm going to show you guys some of his work, but super fun. Congratulations. And you said Ellen?
Yes. Ellen Carlson, she sent me her address and everything, so we got that all set up.
Awesome. So here it is. I can't really show you everything, but yeah, super fun. Congratulations. Peter, you want to say one last goodbye to everybody?
Goodbye, everybody. One thing, Sharon Sturgill says, 5-day challenge. I don't do Instagram, only Facebook, but I also get your emails.
Cool. Yeah, for sure. We'll try to cover all of our bases in terms of communication, but it's gonna. My thought is to go just basically Monday to Friday. If you guys give me feedback that says, no, I really don't want to do it Monday to Friday, I'd rather do it Tuesday to Saturday or something like that. Whatever. But that's my idea. It's gonna be fun, and love you all. Happy Friday. We'll see you guys next week.